I broke my face 6 days after riding 113 miles. I should be dead. Last week I rode the Levi Gran Fondo, 113 miles. That's 183 kilometers, 3,000 meters of climbing mountains in Napa Valley. 8 hours I was in the saddle. A week later, I hiked up a mountain in San Francisco, right above Sausalito, where my friend Rob's ashes were scattered by his family. Without him, I wouldn't have discovered that I had coronary artery disease, heart disease. And I was late for a lunch with his best friend. And when I was running back down the other side towards my car, I was very close, and that's when I fell. And I fell face first into the ground. Felt a lot of pain, but I got up. Many strangers helped me. They washed my wounds. They gave me bandages. Then I had lunch with Rob's best friend, Gordon. Really wanted to meet him, hear his stories about Rob. Then I got on a plane. I flew home, went to the emergency. I got 6 stitches. And then the next morning, I went again and got a CT of my face, which revealed a facial fracture. Just mildly displaced, so conservative management. But memories, Rob, here's to you. I miss you, buddy. So Rob, he died while training hard on his elliptical machine in the morning that he was supposed to visit me. He was 58 years old at that time, similar age to me. Today, I'm going to tell you the equation that explains his death. So I'm 55 years old, and 12 months ago, I found out I had a 77% blockage in my D1 heart artery. Because of Rob, I discovered my heart disease, and I implore you to get a CT calcium heart scan if you're over the age of 40, at least as a baseline. And if you have a positive score, it means you have calcified plaque, and you likely have soft plaque, which is dangerous. So I realized after my fall what I call the plaque reversal equation. And this reversal equation explains why I am still here and Rob isn't. Why I'm able to ride for 8 hours on the bike despite a 77% blockage in my heart artery. My average heart rate was only 135. I didn't push it super hard. I could probably knock an hour off my time easily. So I'm Dr. Kevin Ham, and this is the reversal equation for arterial plaque. R equals T times D. What do these letters stand for? R stands for reversal, is equal to T, which is tap off. What is D? That's drain on. So imagine a sink that's clogged and the tap water running. You want to turn the tap off, and then you want to unclog the drain so the water goes down. So you need both the tap off and the drain on for reversal to happen. What makes your tap off? Well, the LDL below 70 milligrams per deciliter. If you're below 55, that's even better. That's around just under 1.5 millimolar. And the published threshold below which the arterial wall starts permitting regression. Meaning if you have the tap water on a little bit, but it's draining really well, you'll still reverse. But if you have the tap water off and you're draining really well, it will reverse much faster. So you want to try to turn the tap water off as much as possible if you have plaque in your arteries. And the second part, how do you turn the drain on? This is reverse cholesterol transport. I talked about in many other videos. This is 9-step pathway. You have to activate at least the first 3 steps, and obviously the other steps. But even if the other 6 latter steps work and the first 3 steps don't work, you're not going to get reverse cholesterol transport. So this is transporting cholesterol out of the plaque into the blood vessels, onto the HDL, the high density lipoprotein, that will carry it back to the liver to be excreted. What's important is not only the HDL concentration, but function, which is called cholesterol efflux capacity. This is the functional capability of HDL to collect that plaque that it gets from the blood vessel wall and carries it all the way to the liver. So this is actually one of the most important functions of HDL. So even if your number's high, but it's not functional, it's almost meaningless. Plaque only reverses when both these things are solved, when you turn the tap off and you turn the drain on. Either alone either slows or halts plaque, but both together reverse it. Plaque is like a clog in a pipe wall, and both these things need to happen to clear it. So stop adding more plaque to it, which is oxidized LDL, which creates more and more plaque, and then drain what is there. So what does a statin do? A statin closes the tap, so it lowers the LDL by blocking cholesterol production in the liver and other places where cholesterol is made. A statin doesn't open the drain though. The water level stops rising, the clog stays inside the blood vessel wall. That is why the strongest statin trials on carotid imaging produced 0 or very, very mild regression in 2 years. The tap was closed or closing, but the drain was still plugged. So I want you to press pause on your video now, and I need a number from you. Please put in the comments below your most recent LDL, just the number, and tell me which part of this reversal equation you have been working on. The tap, which is the LDL and lowering it, or reverse cholesterol transport, where you're helping your HDL become very functional and carrying that cholesterol out of your plaque. So I'll try to read every comment that you put in. The most common questions become future videos, as you've noticed. So you're not just watching, you're inside the trial of one who's trying to reverse his own heart plaque. And I'd love to know where you are in your journey. So a year ago, my calcium score was 505, and I had 77% obstruction in the D1 branch off my large coronary artery, the LAD. My LDL cholesterol was 168. So in Canadian terms, that's around 4.3. 90 days later, 3 months later, my carotid plaque was gone. I had about 20% on each side on the ultrasound, and my LDL dropped down 64% to a level that was only 61. My ApoB was only 45. Extreme reversal territory. The thickness of my carotid walls was 53% decrease, which is extraordinary. And it's the biggest single patient carotid regression I have been able to find in the world literature, although I haven't submitted my case study yet. And I believe it happened because I saw this equation where I turned off the tap and I unplugged the drain together. Diet drove reducing the LDL, turning the tap off, and exercise, fasting, diet, supplements, turned the drain on. And some of them worked together. So standard cardiology only treats the LDL by using a statin to reduce the LDL, or more powerfully, a PCSK9 inhibitor to get it down to really, really low levels. But even when you drive LDL down to under 40, which is 1 millimolar, the reversal doesn't really happen. You get less than 1% reversal on both the high-dose statin and PCSK9s. The drain stays plugged. The clog, the plaque stays in the vessel wall. And the patient stays on statins for decades, and the plaque doesn't reverse. That's the prescription Rob was on since age 34, and he died of a sudden heart attack at age 58. His LDL was just 80 to 90 milligrams per deciliter on the statin. He had normal blood pressure. He had an athletic heart rate in his low 40s. He was super fit. So he had no major risk factors for heart disease. Fujisaki in 2025 did a meta-analysis and looked at 48 trials that consisted of over 4,000 patients and coronary plaque by intravascular ultrasound. What he saw were two big thresholds for LDL. Above 100 milligrams per deciliter, on average, plaque grows. Below 100, regression begins. That means that's where it kind of stops. As you go lower, under 70, you start to see about 1%. Under 55 LDL, you get about 1.5% decrease of the plaque, the atheroma. This is what he found on average looking at all these studies. So two big markers here. At 100, arrest, 70, slight reversal, 55, a little bit more reversal, but not significant just with LDL. Let's look at statins, PCSK9s, the Dr. Esselstyn diet, which is a whole food plant-based diet with 10% fat. Dr. Ornish's protocol, the lifestyle trial, which is very similar, but he does allow low-fat yogurt. All four can drop your LDL below 70 milligrams per deciliter. Diet drops you naturally. One of the star patients of Dr. Esselstyn was Dr. Joe Crow, who also worked at the Cleveland Clinic, who had a heart attack at age 44, but did not want to take statins. So he did it by diet alone and exercise. He got his LDL down to a low of 38, which is incredible. His proximal LAD was stenosis or obstructed almost 100%. Let's say it's 90%. And it reversed all the way to zero. It had 100% blood flow in just 32 months, so just under 3 years. So Roetge in 2014 in the New England Journal of Medicine looked at just over 2,900 adults, did a 10-year follow-up. And in the highest quartile of cholesterol efflux capacity, that's the functional HDL, those people had 67% fewer heart attacks and strokes than the lowest quartile. And this was independent of LDL levels and independent of HDL number. This was just the ability for the HDL to carry the cholesterol out of the plaque, from the plaque. Statins do not move cholesterol efflux capacities. PCSK9s don't either. They just lower LDL. So they're only operating at that one part of the equation, tap off. Exercise raises ABCA1 efflux by 13.5% in just 12 weeks. What does that mean? ABCA1 is the gate or transporter that allows cholesterol efflux away from the plaque. Pomegranate raises PON1 activity by 83%. What does this do? This keeps the HDL intact and functional. It also reduces LDL oxidation, which creates plaque. So if there's any LDL, it reduces that oxidation by 90%, preventing formation of new plaque. And fasting drives autophagy. Autophagy is self-eating, where your body is recycling all your weak and diseased cells and mitochondria and foam cells in the wall. So the second part of the drain opening or drain on is the part that standard cardiology doesn't reach with a prescription pad. So if you want my reversal protocol and my weekly long form thoughts and writing, they're at ham.com. They're free, they're fully detailed. Everything I'm about to cover with citations of the medical literature. I have many proven strategies based on the medical evidence and stacked across both this reversal equation to turn the tap off and open the drain. So turning the tap off is strict whole food, plant-based, low-fat Esselstyn diet, less than 25 grams of fat a day, no oils, avocados, coconuts, and nuts. He's allowed 2 walnuts per day when I talk to him, because there's a study that showed the benefits of some of these nuts. Just don't get carried away and eat too many nuts. On this dietary protocol of Dr. Esselstyn's, my LDL, again, had decreased 64% from 168 to 61. The second part, when you open the drain, is a high-intensity exercise where you're exercising, where your heart rate is about 80 to 90%, have a hard time breathing. So that's why I really am doubling down on the high intensity exercises, and I'm doing many fondos like the Levi Grand Fondo I just did. It increases all my HDL numbers and functionality, turning the drain on. And I'm also layering fasting, intermittent fasting, 16 hours, doing weekly 1-day fasts, monthly 2 to 3 day fasts. In fact, I just completed a 2-day fast to heal my wounds faster, and it coincided with my monthly 2 to 3 day fast. So that's the autophagy of the foam cells and disease cells. Pomegranate juice, 50 milliliters a day that I've spoken about in many videos. 30% reduction in the walls of the artery and the carotids in just 1 year. Upon one up, 83%, LDL oxidation 90%. So I stress these because a lot of people have never heard of this. Nattokinase I also talked about is a supplement 6,000 to 10,800 fibrinogen units daily. This was shown in a study in 2017 by Ren at decreased plaque reduction 36% in just 26 weeks. That's astounding. 3 times better than any statin, hands down. So all these strategies, and I have many more, they cover both these tap off and drain on. I've had the benefit of showing that. I'd love to see more people embrace this and have similar results or even better results. I have a handful more strategies I stack, but these are the biggest ones. Comment below, are you doing drugs, statins, PCSK9s, healing foods, exercise, or a combo? My next video answers the following question. Which reverses plaque better, statins or exercise or diet? These videos save lives. Tag me, like, subscribe, and ask your questions below. Click one of these videos and share it with someone you love. Together, we will save lives. For my up-to-date learnings and more, visit me at ham.com.